Hello and welcome to the ride. I'm starting off from the gateway to Wilcot Manor in the hamlet of Wilcot, just south of Charlbury in the Oxfordshire Cotswolds. I'm in search of Roman Britain today. The route of the Roman road known as Akeman Street, linking the Fosse Way to Watling Street, passes close by here. And also there was a Roman villa at Shaken Oak Farm excavated just to the north of that back in the 1960s. But it's not that particular Roman villa that I'm riding out to see today. The one I'm interested in is in a village called North Leigh, and that's where I'm heading now. It's amazing to think of all that Roman activity back in these parts 2,000 years ago. And here I am dropping back down to the bottom of the valley of the River Evenlode. I don't actually cross the river. The river in fact is to my left at this point. I am rather riding around a curve, a bend in the river that the river carved out of the Cotswold limestone in this banking that I'm now climbing up. Cotswold limestone is exposed at this point, and there have been quarries in this banking, presumably for centuries, to dig out stone for building houses and field boundaries that give the Cotswolds their particular character, the character that we all know and love, those that know the Cotswolds, of course. So having climbed out of the valley, I'm looking for a parking area on the right, denoted on the map at a place called East End, which means, well, a term given locally to the east end of the North Leigh village. And here it is, exactly where the map says, a place to put the bike down whilst I take a walk back in time by 2,000 years. Back in time to when the Romans occupied much of Britain. A rather innocuous entrance to a rather important building, I think. This stretch is marked as a footpath on the Ordnance Survey map, but it's clearly also a farm track. I could have ridden down here without upsetting anyone. Oh well, exercise and fresh air is good for body and soul, and so they are on this glorious early summer's day. And there's a view down to the valley bottom of the River Evenlode, a river hidden totally from view by those line of trees in the middle distance there. In fact, I've ridden around these parts earlier today and I've not seen the river once. It's just totally hidden by vegetation around here. Again, looking down to the valley bottom, from lower down the path, the excavations of that Roman villa can be seen. It's located in a peaceful rural landscape. It was probably busier in the days that it was built than it is today. More people would have been required to work the farms, whereas I've not seen a soul all day. It's just totally quiet. There are two visible sides, two sides that have been excavated to this Roman villa. In its heyday there would have been four sides around a giant courtyard. I'm walking alongside the most visible of the two remaining sides that are open to view. And someone here has given their own artist's impression of what the place must have looked like in its heyday. In the early 4th century, not long before the occupation of Britain by the Romans ended. So I'm scanning along here, again along the most visible of the two remaining sides to this once four-sided structure. The foundations tell you that this was a big, high-status building. Apparently it had 3 bath suites, 16 mosaic floors and 11 rooms with underfloor heating, and there you can see the underfloor space through which the heat from a furnace passed. And here, where you can see a lawn now, that represents what would have been a courtyard between 4 sides of this Roman villa, and the second side open to view today is the one you can see on the screen now. The foundations not being as substantial as that first excavation, but nevertheless it can be clearly seen that this was an imposing building. And the glory of that building is this mosaic floor, taken into protection by the Duke of Marlborough, because back in the late 18th and early 19th century, other mosaics from this building left the site piece by piece, removed by souvenir hunters. So he thought fit to protect the last remaining floor. And the plaque there says, discovered in 1816, relocated to this safe place in 1929. And thank goodness it was relocated, because we can now get a taste of the luxury that the occupants of that Roman villa must have enjoyed. And that cottage is a custodian's cottage, paid for by the Duke of Marlborough, from nearby Blenheim Palace incidentally. Paid for by the Duke of Marlborough to house a custodian to protect this important site. But there's no custodian today. I'm here totally alone. There's not a soul to be seen anywhere. I have this Roman villa completely to myself, and it's been a privilege to have it so. Rather amazing, really, to have all that history at my feet. So one last look back at the lovely valley bottom, the loop in the river, where that Roman villa once stood proud. So back to the bike and those glorious Cotswold lanes. As ever, if you've enjoyed the ride, I would welcome your company next time. Just like, subscribe, and perhaps even share, and I'll let you know when I'm next out and about. So, back to the valley bottom of the River Evenlode that has worked its secret magic over this landscape, even though I still haven't seen it. Turning right here to Woodstock, and I still haven't seen the river, even though I'm crossing it now on this bridge. But what a day! Motorcycling back to Roman Britain. For now, I'm done.